morning. Today's Family First. We are talking about video games. A lot of times the kids are battling it out on the video game screen, but it can cause a battle at home too between mom and dad and the parents. Here to talk all about it is Dr. Saunders from the Hartford Hospital Institute of Living. Thanks for joining us once again.
Erica.
Now, a lot of times you start talking about video games with a group of parents and they're just shaking their heads and, oh my goodness, I can't get them off it. I feel so frustrated. You know, help us sort of weave through the rules of what we should be holding steadfast to as parents.
It has become the bane of existence of many families. And to have a set of guidelines can really be helpful. There are some really good sites out there and resources. Common Sense Media is one of them. Also, the American Academy of Pediatrics has guidelines. So the more we use guidelines, it takes it away from being so personal to being a little bit more general.
And what about guidelines as far as certain video games? I mean, those age limits, those age restrictions are put there for a reason.
Right. Excuse me, and they're very age-based. So as we increase in age, you know, any child under 2, you want to almost eliminate any screens,
right,
any TV, and anything that you do, you want it to be interactive so that you can create conversation points, even if it's something as simple as Sesame Street. As you get older, we're actually breaking down media and not just looking at all as screens, but there's different types of screen and media use. There's interactive, there's more passive, listening to music, which is not as detrimental as we used to, you know, think it is. And so looking at things that are more creative. There's a lot of sites now where you can create pictures and art and music and other things. So we're really looking at all the components and not just such a black and white, you know, has to be less than 2 hours a day. A lot of times schools are using media for homework and whatnot. So we need to get a little bit more sophisticated. One of the resources out there is called a Family Media Plan. It's on the American Academy of Pediatrics site, and it's a really good guideline to help with you know, how do you specify use with your child?
Now, on the subject of not so creative video games, there's a lot of controversy out there right now, especially also at Capitol Hill. Right now, President Trump is commenting on it. Video games, and do they or do they not create violent kids?
So what we know is that excessive violent video game use can sensitize us to some degree. However, there are multiple risk factors in those kids that do more egregious things. And those multiple risk factors, one being violent video game exposure, it's also substance use, it's also parental conflict or family conflict at home. So there's multiple factors. It's not what we call a cause and effect. It's multiple factors. And so while we want to control the things that we can control. And decreasing violent video game use is one of those things as parents that we can control, and that's something where we want to focus our efforts.
Now, unfortunately, I suppose, the kids enjoy it. They get to play video games now with their friends, even though they're not right there in the room. You play online. It's this whole new world that, you know, growing up, we didn't have to worry about. But also, you're not just playing with your friends. There's total strangers out there, and that opens the door. We really need to have conversations with our kids about this, about playing online with who knows who.
Right. So the multi-site, multiplayer games actually tend to be the most addictive also. So those are the ones the parents really want to limit and monitor as much as possible. Some of the World of Warcraft and other games that really you could be playing with people from other countries.
Right.
And the more you play them, actually the more addictive they become. You get into this zone of flow where you just want to keep playing because it creates an energy.
For hours and hours and hours on end.
And the difference is, unlike watching a TV show has a beginning and an end,
sure,
right? A lot of these games are
continuous,
and you just go on and on. So we have to set limits because they don't have a natural end.
Right, so set limits and have those conversations with your kids. And my mom, she used a good old-fashioned egg timer, to be honest, and maybe we should, you know, sort of revisit that, right?
It really is important to have limits. Use that family media plan that's on the American Academy of Pediatrics site. There's a lot out there that can help guide us as parents because this is not an easy road.
All right, Dr. Saunders, thanks so much. We do need some help in this.
Thank you.
We all do. It's not easy as parents these days. Thanks. We do appreciate it. Well, stay with us. We do have much more ahead here for you on the Fox 61 Morning News. We're talking about this event. It's coming up in April. We're going to tell you why Jordan's Furniture is something you might want to take part in. We're going to tell you all about it. Stay with us.